Well, hello there and happy Wednesday. A couple of quick things. I am actually wearing a little bit of a vest today because it's a little bit chilly and I'm in my studio. It's a little cold, and so I actually had to turn the heater on. And so that just tells me that we're definitely deep in the fall season, heading into the winter months. But welcome to my weekly Wednesday live. I come on live every Wednesday at noon Pacific time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern, to talk to you about surface pattern design and creativity and surface pattern design and entrepreneurship. And today we're actually going to talk about craft fairs because this is the best time of year to participate either in a craft fair or in a church bazaar. And I've double checked that I am in fact in the right place. I should be broadcasting live to my Facebook page as well as over on YouTube in case you want to join me today. And we're going to talk specifically about craft fairs and why craft fairs are so incredibly powerful as a way for you to get your surface pattern designs into the hands of customers this season. I'm a surface pattern designer. Here are some of my beautiful wrapping papers. You can also see some of my fabrics, like right up here. And so let's jump into what's awesome about craft fairs. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to go to my website because I've got tons of good information for you on my website. If you go to anlafaldart.com, you land on this first page. And right now, up here at the top, if you're planning to participate in an art or a craft fair this holiday season, I have a free guide. So you can click. Do you notice my cursor changes from a black arrow to this hand with a pointing finger? That means you can click on this bar to get my free guide. And you can also just scroll down a teeny tiny bit and you'll see me right here next to my wrapping papers, and you can grab the free guide here as well. And it's a very detailed guide that will walk you through what I have found to be the best ways. Here, let me come back on screen. Now that you know where to find my guide, it's a free downloadable guide. And in it, I walk you through the 7 ways in which I have been able to increase my profit margin at each of the fairs that I've participated in. And so there's 7 different things that I cover in the guide that will help you make more profits. And I think it's a really beneficial thing to be both aware of. And of course, I want you to know you can download it for free by going to anlafaldart.com/craft fair, and there's a dash between craft and fair, or actually just go to anlafaldart.com and you'll see it. You land on my website, you'll see it in that announcement bar, and you'll also see it if you just scroll down below the first image, anlafaldart.com. So let's talk about why I love craft fairs and why I highly encourage you, even if you're not a surface pattern designer and you're a crafter, they're an incredibly great way for you to get your work out and in front of people. So, and why does it matter? It matters because you want to get interaction with your customers. You want to find out what they like. You want to find out what's resonating with them so that you can do more of what's working and less of what's not working. I found that doing craft fairs specifically during the holiday season is very advantageous, and I'm sure you can guess why. So tell me in the comments, if you're here live with me, why would doing a craft fair during the holiday season be particularly powerful? I'll give you a minute to jump into the comments. Let me make sure I've got my comments tab open so that in fact I can see your comments. Window, comments. So pop into the comments and let me know why, and then I'm going to keep going so that I am not wasting your time. But listen, the reason it matters and the reason it's so powerful during the holiday season is because, first of all, it's a high volume sales time. Right? People are specifically shopping for something interesting and something novel and something that's more handmade during the holiday season, right? So we all save a little bit of money. We might have a little bit of a sort of holiday shopping kitty and we're going to spend it during this time of the year. So high volume sales time. It's also a great time for people to discover new resources, right? New crafters, new surface pattern designers, new artists, new entrepreneurs who have a variety of different products that they want to sell. So I've always loved to do wrapping paper and greeting cards and tote bags. And I also do mugs. I also do journals. And I also do a couple of other little fun things like pouches, fabric pouches that you can put your makeup in. I also have little small pouches that you can put all of your phone devices, the plugs to recharge your phone or your earbuds or all of those contraptions that sometimes have a tendency to get lost. And so I have cute little pouches that have my designs. It's a fabric and it has my fabric design on it. And they're just an awesome, very small, very manageable, not expensive, kind of either stocking stuffer or gift for someone that is unique. And the third thing is that when you're doing a craft fair or an art fair, you're getting real-time feedback. And when you sell online and somebody then receives your item, you absolutely can get feedback from them as well by reaching out and saying, tell me what you thought. I'd love your feedback. But that's a very long process. And you have to follow up, and then you may not get as many immediate answers. Whereas in person, the person is right there in front of you. You can greet them at your table. You can ask them what it is they're looking for. You can tell them a bit about you and why you're doing what you're doing. And that actually helps you bring the whole process to life. Right? It helps you bring the whole process to life and why it is that you actually are pursuing surface design to begin with. So that's a great thing to be aware of. And then the next thing is you want to, in my guide, in my craft fair guide that you can find just go to my website, annlafaldart.com, and you'll see a place where you can download it. But I like to always start super strategically. And when I think about starting really strategically, because strategy always comes first, the first thing that you want to ask yourself is, where is the best fair for me to participate in? Or what's the easiest one for me to participate in if you haven't done one before? Or what is the craft fair or the church bazaar that doesn't have any fees? Because you want to minimize any costs associated with participating. So when I was doing this, and when I was just getting started, and I did this a lot, I would always want to find a fair in my local area where they didn't have a table fee, they didn't have an admission fee, they didn't take any of your profits, they didn't take a cut of your profits. And so essentially, you were doing the labor of setting up your table and making sure that you were servicing all of the fabulous people coming for either the half a day or maybe it was a 2-day event, but you didn't have any additional overhead. You weren't paying anybody else to participate. And so that's a really great thing to make sure you're considering, because you can always find one that is actually free to participate in. Maybe there's a bit of an application, but you want to try to find the ones that don't actually charge you anything. So that's a great strategy, really great strategy. And then in the guide, I also cover merchandising. Like, how do you pick the best products, the ones that are going to make you the most profit? You can actually get access to a calculator, a profit calculator. It's an option when you go through the free guide. If you want to see how I calculate my profit margin, it's a great way to know kind of in advance what to expect. Like, how many of each of my items am I going to have to sell at what average price in order to be able to come away from the day or the 2 days with the amount of profit that you want to achieve. So pre-planning is super important. And I love spreadsheets, and I love to plan, and I love to have a game plan, especially if it's an event that's over a couple of days. Because after the first day, you can assess if you're on track or you're ahead or you're slightly behind. And as a result, you can then be really prepared on your second day, if it's a 2-day event, to make sure that you're going to actually achieve your goal or exceed your profit goal. Because it's not all about top line sales, right? It's about how much money did you actually make after your investment in inventory or your investment in any other items that you have on your table. And that's super important, right? That's super important. So that's another kind of strategic way to be thinking about it in advance so that you can be well planned out and actually understand what your potential is and how you can pivot in the moment if you need to. Now, the third thing too is, of course, it's so easy for people to purchase from you now. You can have a QR code. You can have people can buy just through Apple Pay. They can pay you on your phone through Stripe. They can Venmo you the money. It's so easy. We basically have this incredible device in our pocket, which is the phone, and so it makes it so much easier. However, this is kind of a pro tip, you do want to make sure you have a little bit of cash on hand in case somebody is actually wanting to pay in cash. And one of the great things about just thinking about that in advance, and I have a whole checklist for you in the guide, there's a whole checklist about don't forget to bring these things with you that I think that you'll really, really like. But that is another thing that just makes craft fairs so approachable now. It's so easy for people to pay. They can probably do it all with their credit card or through their phone. And you should have some cash on hand, but you really generally don't end up having very many customers who pay in cash. So that's another really great thing to be aware of. And then listen, it's totally okay to start really, really small. So the two things that I did at the very beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, I had a corporate career for 30 years and then boom, one day I got laid off and I figured I got to reinvent myself. I didn't want to go get I tried to get a corporate job again and couldn't get it because I was too, quote, old. And then I just decided, you know what? I want to take control of my life. I want to do something for me. And I want to lean back into my creativity, which I'd put to the side for years and years. And I wanted to find something really fun to do creatively. And I discovered surface design and learned all about it, and then created a variety of different products that I sell. And at the very beginning, the way I did that was through craft fairs and also by partnering with my local art supply store. And so, it just takes a little bit of courage I put the samples that I had of the different products that I wanted to be selling. I put them in a very small little box that I got from those see-through boxes you can get from the Container Store. And I just walked down to my local art supply store in my teeny little town. And I asked who the manager was, and actually it was the store owner who's the manager, because I live in a very small town and it was a very small little shop. And I said, I'd love to see if you would be interested in selling some of these products in your store. I'm a local artist and I am just getting started on my entrepreneurial journey. And I would love to have just like a small shelf, and we can split the proceeds, or we can talk about how much will I make versus how much will you make, because it needs to be a win-win for both of us. And she was absolutely delightful. And the reason that I had the idea is because I was in retail forever, and retail stores are always looking for a way to attract new people in the door, right? They need customers to come in the door in order to make their own sales targets every single day. And this particular woman who ran this really, really pretty art supply store, she she featured something different in the windows every single month. And so it's like, well, you could feature me in the window for 1 month, gives you, because you're always looking for new ideas about what you're going to feature. And so she did. And I still have, I had to create the window display for her. And so I still have some of these really, really fun. I have a big plaque that just has my, picture and my name and a little short description of who I am. And then I had some blow up, some really, really big posters of a few of my beautiful designs that were available inside the store. And it was a really, really fun way for me to sort of leverage some of the experience that I gained from working in retail for 30 years, and yet doing it for products that I had, for products that had my own designs on them. whether it was wrapping paper that has my own designs on them, or shirts that have my own designs on them, or fabric swatches that people can buy for their quilting projects or their own sewing projects. So craft fairs are a lot of fun. And I highly encourage you to download my free guide by going to AnnaLafolletArt.com. And you will see right on the announcement bar, you'll see where you can click to get it. And you can also just scroll down a little bit and you'll see that round circle that says craft fair. Get the guide here. And I would love to hear how it goes. And maybe you already have one planned. So if you're watching the replay and you already have one planned, let me know where you live. Where is it going to be around in the country? And is it your first, or do you do them every season? And again, this is the perfect season to do it. You have time to get prepared still, and you're heading into the holiday season, right? The Black Friday weekend is a really big weekend. And then, of course, throughout the early weeks of December, many people have craft fairs, or your church bazaar will have one after church. And it's a great way to get your art out into the world and interact with customers to see what they like best. So I'm going to let you go. It's totally fine to start really small, but go to AnnaLafolletArt.com. Here, let me go back to sharing my screen just really briefly so you know what I'm talking about and where to find it. You just have to go to AnnaLafolletArt.com, and you can see the spelling right up here. Here, let me see if my cursor will come over here. AnnaLafolletArt.com. It's right up in the upper left-hand corner. And then the hello bar along the top is this hello bar up here. Now you can see my cursor. Just click here to get it, or scroll down and you can grab the guide here. And it's totally free. And of course, then you can scroll down and learn more about my business. And then you can also download it right here, your top tips for craft fair success. It's downloadable right there. And if you want to learn about surface pattern design, then I have a free ebook about surface pattern design. And I talk to you about, well, how did I learn how to create repeating patterns like the ones you see right here behind me? This is like a cute little video that runs in the background on my website. And I'm standing right in front of it, right? I'm standing right in front of all of those exact same things. Hello, Sandy. It's great to see you. Thank you for joining me. So I'm going to let you go because I'm sure that you have lots of things to do, and I only like to take about 15 or 20 minutes each time I come on live. But I would love to hear if you're going to do a craft fair or participate in a church bazaar. And if you need any help at all, my free guide is a great place to start. AnnaLafolletArt.com. And I'll be here again next week. I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette, and it's never too late to create. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week.